I've always been a lurker on Reddit, especially on the horror subs. There's something about the anonymity of the stories that makes them feel more real, more visceral. But nothing could have prepared me for what I stumbled upon last night. Started like any other night. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my favorite subreddit, r/RealHorror. The usual posts were there. Stories of haunted houses, eerie encounters in the woods, and strange noises in the dead of night. But then, I noticed a new post that caught my eye. The title was simple, "Do not read this." Curiosity got the best of me, and I clicked on it. The post was short, just a few sentences long. If you're reading this, you've already made a mistake. This isn't just another horror story. This is real. Once you've read these words, something will come for you. It feeds on fear, and by reading this, you've invited it into your life. It will start with whispers, then shadows, and finally it will take you. There's no way to stop it. Don't bother trying. Just know that you're not alone. Others have read this too, and they're suffering just like you will. Welcome to your nightmare. I laughed it off at first. It was probably just some edgy teenager trying to scare people. The comments were filled with jokes, memes, and the occasional "you're an idiot for reading this." I closed the app and went to sleep. That's when the nightmares started. I woke up in a cold sweat, heart pounding. The dream was so vivid. I was in my bedroom, but everything felt wrong. The shadows were too dark, the silence too heavy. Then, I heard it. A whisper, so faint I almost didn't catch it. "You shouldn't have read it." I jolted awake, shaking. It was just a dream, I told myself. Just a stupid dream. But the feeling of unease wouldn't go away. The next day, things got worse. I was at work when I started seeing shadows moving out of the corner of my eye. Every time I turned my head, there was nothing there. The whispers followed me too, growing louder and more persistent. It was like someone was standing right behind me, breathing down my neck. By the time I got home, I was a wreck. I slammed the door behind me, locking it, as if that could keep whatever was happening at bay. I tried to distract myself with TV, music, anything to drown out the whispers, but they were relentless. That's when I remembered the Reddit post. I opened the app and went back to r/RealHorror. The post was gone. I searched for it, but it had been deleted. Panic set in. What if it was real? What if I had actually brought something into my life? Desperate, I started messaging the users who had commented on the post, asking if they were experiencing anything strange. Most didn't respond, but a few did. They told me they were going through the same thing. Nightmares, whispers, shadows that seemed to move on their own. One user mentioned seeing a figure, dark and featureless, standing at the foot of their bed at night. I didn't sleep at all that night. I sat in bed, lights on, trying to convince myself that it was all in my head. But the whispers didn't stop. They grew louder, more insistent, until it felt like they were screaming in my ears. "You shouldn't have read it." The figure appeared the next night. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, when I felt a presence in the room. Slowly, I turned my head, and there it was, a dark, featureless shape, just standing there, watching me. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. All I could do was stare back at it in terror. It's been a week since I read that post. I haven't been able to sleep, haven't been able to think straight. The figure is always there now, watching, waiting. The whispers have become unbearable, a constant barrage of fear and dread. I know it's only a matter of time before it takes me. I'm writing this as a warning to anyone who stumbles across that post. If you see it, don't read it. Don't make the same mistake I did, because once you've read it, there's no going back. I don't know how much longer I have. The figure is closer now, almost within reach. I can feel its cold breath on my skin. The whispers are deafening, telling me it's almost time. I'm so scared. The last thing I remember is the feeling of icy fingers wrapping around my throat, and then darkness. Please don't make the same mistake. Goodbye.